we have been discussing, I have been hearing a lot of TiE sessions the last couple of months because of also a lot of frenzy because of the work from home environments that we are in. Interesting part I felt is because a lot of discussion on the startups, and many of us were kind of having this question in our minds for sure. Are we going to be in a startup, mode all the time as Kerala in particular, or are we going to scale? So that is where I think it's a great honor and pleasure to have Faizal M. Khalid, founder and CEO of Maplitho Solutions and Celebees Technologies, join us today to kind of give us an idea how we could bridge the gap. Because we are talking many times about startups on one side, and yeah, it looks like there is a lot of support on startups, but startup, like Steve Blank mentions in his discussion, he points out it is just an approach to bring a business out of the box and kind of mature it so that it makes sense to the world. So from that perspective, when I look back, that's where I started feeling it's a real important area. But we are hearing unicorns another day, and on one day we are hearing startups, and looks like it was so easy to become a unicorn. So this, I think, that's where I believe Faisal would be able to kind of demystify this kind of a gap and help us set the right track towards that growth and the mindset around growth. Faisal, as we know, is an accomplished digital transition partner, international growth strategist and mentor, and an enterprise consultant. He has extensive experience in leading a technology-driven and result-oriented growth team. He helps companies in strategizing world-class growth plans, focusing in their international growth and geographical reach by undertaking complex digital transformation initiatives and providing valuable inputs to business from a technological and ethical perspective. So here, what I would really like you to take away is the kind of breadth and depth that Faisal brings to the stage on one side, at the same time also looking at the strategy aspect of it, because I think that is so very important for us to scale and survive in this uncertain world of things. So over to you, Faisal. We really look forward to your interesting discussion and sharing your thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Abhilash, for that introduction. And thank you from the team TiE Kerala, all the authorities giving me an opportunity for actually just giving an input about what is growth hacking to the viewers, as well as how growth hacking helps basically for the startup as well as SME and the other enterprise world. Okay, so I will start sharing the screen. Hope Abhilash, you can see the screen, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So I am welcoming everybody to the world of growth hacking, actually. And I myself, as Mr. Abhilash had been explaining, I am Faizal M. Khalid, CEO and founder of Maplitho Solutions and Celebees Technologies. I'm into technology and the growth marketing for the last 23 years, and specialized in growth hacking strategist, startup and enterprise growth consulting, startup and enterprise technology consulting, international marketing consulting, and mainly for partnering and collaboration for my clients internationally. So as per today's topic, let's discuss how to maintain steady and early traction through growth hacking. Before going to discuss regarding growth hacking, initially, as Mr. Abhilash was talking about today's current situation, COVID situation or any situation, when we consider startup or SME or any enterprises. So when they look into their market of promoting their products and services, the major challenge is actually, we all know about what is digital marketing actually. And because of COVID situation, now it is much important. Most of the any startup or any enterprise companies actually want to scale or want to promote their services or products. Basically, they are mostly depends upon the digital marketing. So people or company are slowly changing their or transition to the digital marketing perspective. So when we look into the startup world, as Mr. Abhilash was stating, actually, maybe two friends thinks maybe they are developers, software developers, or they are basically from business world actually, or somebody from basically a marketing field. So they have a dream and they basically plan to start a startup actually. And when they start up, if they are a developers, they are very strong with their actually technological background. So they know how to build an application, whether it is a mobile application or whether it is a web application. So those friends together develop an application actually. Then the next thing is actually how to launch that product into the market. And other thing is actually how to scale it. And for the initially the early traction, after the launch, early traction, then how to scale it, and how when scaling, how to focus on the revenue generation parts. Okay, that is one challenge. The second, when you consider a business, two business friends, they have money and financially strong, but they want to start a startup or they want to scale their business. So their challenge is actually who will solve their technological problem. And after somebody to solve the technological problem, then who will solve them how to launch. They may be having the insight of traditional marketing to launch their product. But we all know a very good fact actually, any startup, whether it is a startup by two friends without any money, any startup, everybody want to have an idea, and after the development, they are want to launch that product into market basically with a smaller money, because they don't want to push the whole money into the market initially. So digital marketing is a one idea actually to help startup for launching their product and getting the tractions. But what happens is actually when two developers develop an application, the application, if it is a technology startup actually, it will be the application or the concept, any other startup, the concept will be featureful actually. The idea maybe the feature will be good, and if it is a mobile application, the whole feature will be strong. But the idea is actually when they want to launch into the market, okay, or after the launching into the market, they may be because of the fascination in the idea, maybe they are getting a lot of comments, they are getting a lot of followers, or they are getting a lot of likes and shares. But we could feel there are other lot of startups who even struggling to get an early tractions in terms of followers, likes and shares. Okay, so what we feel is actually, if I'm a developer, I build an application, and whether the startup founders don't know whether the product is ready to go to market actually. So the basic thing is actually the mobile application is ready or any other concept is ready, but for that application or web application, mobile, if they want to go to the go-to-market strategy, there are a lot of elements actually to implement into the our concept. That is in terms of when the visitors are coming into our application, we should analyze who is our visitor, and we should analyze whether the visitors are the relevant visitors, and whether these visitors are bringing numbers to us actually, or the tractions to us actually. So the major problem what we are going to discuss here is actually, let it be a startup, let it be an SME, let it be a corporate people or enterprise company who are going digitally. The essence is basically they are getting tractions in terms of maybe followers, likes and shares. So when we launch our product into the market, we may be sharing to our friends and relatives. So our friends and relatives, they have an affection towards us, and they share to their friends and relatives. And we feel that actually our product is getting the early tractions in terms of followers and things like that. But after 2 months or 3 months, we can see that actually the tractions is only in terms of likes and shares, but I don't have the customers. Very recently, one of my I think 6-7 months before, one of my friends started a small startup basically into a central kitchen, and he's told me that actually I had to bring some influencer marketers actually for doing some campaigns, and influencer marketer basically done great job and bring a lot of followers to the Instagram pages and a lot of likes, but he fails to get the results actually in terms of sales and sales. So then he says that what happened, he don't know, because a lot of followers are, but business is not happening. Then when I checked the influencer, I could not see that actually his enterprise or the central kitchen is in one end of the Kerala, and the influencers major followers are in the other end of the Kerala actually. So what happened is actually influencers like the concept, like the food, they follow, but they don't have the business. So the idea of growth hacking, before we discuss what is growth hacking, it is much important to understand what is the current situation of our business and what is the major problem of business. We have followers, we have likes and shares, but no customers. I have want to discuss before growth hacking few questions actually, the vital questions we should ask to any startups or any enterprises or any SMEs actually. The first question is whether we know the startups knows who is your customers. Okay, when you consider Kerala is 5 crores of people actually. India, we have 1.45 billion citizens actually. So in that particular customer, who is our customer? Okay, if I'm running a food startup, who is my customer? So I know some people in their Instagram or Facebooks, they are running, if they are B2B customers, but they are running some normal campaigns for likes for generating the likes, but they are not getting any business in them. So initially the first question is, who is your customer? And the second question is, how do you reach your customers? So what is your plan to reach to your customer? What is the actual, our USP to talk to our customer? Or whether we are engaging rightly with the customer? That is the next question. Third question is why you fails to reach your customers? That is the much important question. The other vital question is actually, who is your competitor? And who are the customers of your competitors? And why important to study your competitors? So mixing all the question, any startup, any SME, it is much important to understand first is actually who is your customer actually, and what is your plan to reach your customers. Once the plan is set, then we should understand what is the strategies to reach your customers. And when we design our strategies, we should definitely have a plan whether our strategies are working fine, and monitor whether our strategies are working fine, track daily or every seconds and every time whether our strategies are working fine. So then only we will understand why we fails to reach your customers actually. Okay. Any product or service, if we are looking to launch into the market or scale in the market, it is much important to understand who is our competitor. We all know if I'm going to launch a competitor, I'm going to launch a e-commerce portal, something like an Amazon or Flipkart. Okay, so my competitor is I'm not directly competing with Amazon or Flipkart, but I know that actually the products which is in the Amazon, that is the same product which I'm going to sell through my e-commerce actually. But I know very well daily thousands of people or 100,000s of people are getting into Amazon. Okay, so there are the customers who are in our market, which market we are focusing. There are customers who buys from Amazon. So those customers, if I can bring them to my particular website and give a better offer, definitely they can be my customer also. So the idea is actually to understand who is your competitor customers actually. So if we can break and understand with some tools and some of our strategies, we can understand the pattern and the sentiments and the behavior of the Amazon customer, then definitely we can design the strategies to tap the Amazon customer and bring them to our website or the mobile application and buy from them. And it is much important to understand or study about what is our competitor and how they are doing and what is the difference between what we need to push into the market to compete with their competitors. So now we are coming to growth hacking. Growth hacking is nothing more than bringing results organically and systematically, basically. So when we look into that, it is much important to discuss actually how growth hacking will competing with the digital marketing, how growth hacking can help our business and bring growth to our business and get an early traction as well as a steady traction for our business. So growth hacking is actually a marketing techniques developed by technology startup, which uses creativity, analytical thinking, and social metrics to sell services and gain exposure. So now, when we compare growth hacking with digital marketing, we can discuss a lot of basically point. What is the difference between the digital marketing and the growth hacking? Digital marketing is basically the branding awareness acquisition. Otherwise, we can say digital marketing helps actually to brand our service or product in front of the customers, or making awareness that actually this product is in the market. Okay, but growth hacking is which we are talking about AA funnel, which is we talk. So I will come to that screen, but I will just get into that screen now. It is actually ARR funnel, we say, that is acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue. So growth hacking is basically helping our startups or any companies to acquire the customers, then activate the customer, retain the customer, and go refer the customer for us by the existing customers. So branding awareness acquisition only we are getting from digital marketing, and growth hacking is basically help us to acquire user acquisition and user activation and referrals and revenue. The goals when we discuss in digital marketing, it is basically numbers of leads, we say. Second, we talks about registrations, and third, we talk about downloads. But in growth hacking, we talks about activations and growth rate. That's actually, that is month to month, what is the growth? That is basically we discuss about growth hacking. And team, basically marketing and designing team, basically digital marketing. But in growth hacking, the team is engineering team, designing team, data analysis, and UX team. Okay. So what is actually the team differences with the growth team as well as the digital marketing team is when we say I'm a growth hacker, I should be an engineering background, because I should know how to do little coding actually to integrate the tools depends upon the common sense for conversions. So that is, I should know a little bit of coding actually. I should be a creative person. We call our team not a designer, more than that, we call them as a growth designer. So growth designer means he should be a kind of a designer who can think about my design should communicate to the team. So he should get the help of a content writer who is basically help him to give the such kind of content, so that the content and the particular design talks each other and simply communicate to the customer directly, and make him understand what the point of going to sell, what is the product and what is the service, and how it will help them to in their life actually buying this product. So that is much important to have a direct communication with the client. Data analysis, actually, a growth hacker should be having a little bit of a strong knowledge of using some kind of tools, integrating some kind of tools to understand the user sentiments, the user journey. So do little bit of data analytics and UX designing and all. When you look into product impact in digital marketing, it is little impact they can do in basically with the product, but a lot of change in the product can bring by the growth hacking. Okay. So now we will discuss a much important point here actually. Why we should become a serious team behind the thought growth hacking. Okay. So when we look into the growth hacking perspective, I just put why we should become a serious team behind thought growth hacking. So I want to discuss a small case study here. Assume that one of my close relative is in hospital. Okay. And he is critically ill. Okay. So doctor asked me to buy a medicine urgently today. Okay. So one option is that actually I go to the market. I go to the market and go to different medical shops and buy the medicine. But since I'm locked there, I cannot move. So I ask my friend or relatives actually say that this is the medicine I want very urgently. So buy it from outside actually. So I know the current situation. So I try to make my friend understand about the current situation also. But when he go to the market, he go to first medical shop, it's not available. Second medical shop available. He may be going to 5 to 10 medical shop, but it is not available. Okay. So he will call me and easily tell that actually I went to 10 medical shops, but the medicine is not available. Okay. So I can say that he can be a digital marketer. Okay. Okay. So for me, it is very critical for me that my cousin or my relative is who I know, and I am with him for last 5 days, and I know his critical situation. So when I hear that actually the medicine is not available, so I say that let me go out and see. So what I do is actually I go to 5 shops and medicine not available. So what I will do, I will call. I know my friend who is a distributor of the medicine, so I call him. So he said that no, I don't have the stock. So I will call him and say, it is very critical. So I may be calling different people, or he may be calling different people. And finally, I push him, I run, I take my car, I drive, I go here and there. So what I'm trying means, since I know the criticality of the patient, I go in a different perspective. I travel, I take my car, I use my whole effort to get the medicine and bring the medicine and give the medicine to the patient, and patient get the good care, and he is rescued from the critical situation. So the idea is actually, first is important is understanding the actual situation. So now we are just want to discuss what is growth hacking now. So first is actually understanding the actual situation. So if you are a startup, if you are a enterprise company, or if you are a SME, initially if you are giving outsourcing your concept or your business development to any growth hacking company or any digital marketing company, first you should ensure that actually whether your complete situation is completely transferred to that digital marketing company or a growth hacking company. So growth hacking company should actually understand the actual situation of the company. Second is actually conceiving the whole idea by whole team and sync. The idea is actually, as I explained about the patient situation, the story of the patients, much important thing is actually, I understand my cousin or my relative is critically ill. So I conceive the whole idea of what happened to that particular patient. And if that particular patient not getting the medicine on time, and that patient can die, or patient moves to any critical situation. We all know, as Abhilash sir was telling initially, talking about a startup, and initial 3 months, 4 months, 5 months breathtaking of a startup, if they are not getting the actual remedies to the initial time, that we call as early tractions, which lead to energy for the co-founders. Second, which leads to funding, which leads to all growth perspective. So it is important to actually understand the situation. Next is actually the growth hacker or a growth hacking company to conceive the whole idea by the whole team. So if I am the strategist of a company, I should understand the whole idea of the project. Second, my team should understand the whole idea of the project. And my team, myself, and the startup companies, co-founders or the project managers should sync and understand the whole idea. So if I understand the whole idea, so I know the when you compare with digital marketing team with the growth hacking team, when if somebody comes to a digital marketing thoughtful team, digital marketing generalist thought team, when they talk about their concept and idea, normally digital marketing team, the next step is actually to how should be the design, how should be the posters, how we should design the posters and boost it in the Facebook or Instagram or something like that. So digital marketing general thought is something like that. So they will be discussing the designing team. There will be a strategic team will design planning the strategies, but the next much element is they want a classic design, then some strong captions and boost in the Facebook and Instagram. Okay, one of my client basically into educational industry, I mean 1 or 2 years before actually asked me when they start a project with me. Actually, they says that actually that is a basic educational certification client, basically for the working people. So they are having around 14-15 courses we need to market, and in that major courses are basic for the working people. So they came to me and say that actually we have around 75,000 followers in Facebook and Instagram. So Faizal, if you do the remarketing with our followers itself, you can bring the business to us. So while they're negotiating with me for the cost factor, they told me that this is our USP. We already have 75,000 followers and something like that. And in that, only maybe 1 or 2% are our already the customers. So you can easily target. So you can easily bring the leads. So first month, I thought that actually let us do some campaigns, basically targeting the followers for them. So what happened is actually when we run a strong campaign targeting the existing customers of those, I get a lot of leads, but my client was completely unsatisfied, telling that actually all lead was completely irrelevant. Okay, so I told my team actually discuss with them what was your previous campaign. So unfortunately, I got a some kind of 1-year-old social assets. Okay, before 1 year they were running different social assets actually. So when we look into the background study and all, we didn't understand much about it because it was little decent actually. So when I was checking, talking to them about their previous social campaigns, and I could understand some company was helping them. They were running some kind of campaigns telling that click in, like the posters, you will get an iPhone, something like that. It is basically for promoting a very serious courses actually. So click like, you will get an iPhone, something like that. There are a lot of basically campaigns for this. So initially they were, I don't know how they had convinced with those campaigns, but so I told them that actually this is the basic campaign. So what I'm telling you that actually, if somebody are to me, if not kind of a retail customer like Lulu or Carrefour or something like that coming to me and telling we want to increase the likes and we want to increase the shares, it's fine. But any startups is coming to me, tell that I want this much like, I want this much shares. I say that thank you very much, sir. I cannot help you, because if I can bring likes and share to you, but end of the month, after that, you will ask me what is the numbers actually. So I cannot bring you conversion. So it is much important conceiving the whole idea by my team as well as the growth hacking team and the whole members of the growth hacking. Now we should understand, the third point is depth understanding of who we are targeting. That is much important. I will explain that in my next slides actually, who we are targeting, that is much important. Eliminate whom we don't want to talk. See, I know that actually some campaigns when we run, what happened is actually that simply I can say that actually that same Middle East very popular educational client actually to me. So they asked me, they want to run a campaign for basically generate the leads for course called the PMP, that is Project Management Office, project management course actually. So they want to generate leads for that. So they told that actually all the Middle East working project managers we should target, and we need to convert them. So what we do is actually one option that actually I can do campaigns in Facebook, Instagram, okay, and other social medias. But it is very simple common sense. So those who are hearing me, everybody knows that actually when you look into Facebook or Instagram or the social such kind of channels, nobody will put their profiles telling that my designation is project manager. But when we look into LinkedIn, definitely we know that actually the profiles will be something like a complete resume. Okay, they will put their designation, everything. So when I was trying to use Instagram and Facebook basically for marketing for this project management process, what I understand that actually we will not earn relevant leads. Okay, so what we did is actually we use some kind of tools called duck soup actually, which integrating to the LinkedIn. Okay, and we can crawl data from LinkedIn actually. So what we did is actually we had put some keywords like that, project managers working in Middle East like Dubai, Kuwait and everything, put all the keywords in our tools, and we run the campaigns, and my tool go to the LinkedIn and crawl all the first name, last name, email address, and actually the designation of project managers working in Middle East, and it grabbed and put into my one of the Excel sheet actually. So I'm not running campaign in LinkedIn because it is very expensive. Okay, when we compare with Instagram and Facebook, it is very cheap actually, Instagram and Facebook. So what I did is I used a tool called DuckSoup. I crawl the whole first name, last name, and email from LinkedIn and put in Excel sheet. Then I use tools like import.io, and all different tools are there. My tool will basically capture the first name, last name, email, and the details, and it takes and it goes and crawl into the internet. Okay, and it crawl into the social media, and it brings I have first name, last name, email ID. So it goes into the social media, and it brings all the links of the project managers basically, or all the links of the social media of that first name and last name matching with the internet data actually. So now I run the campaign integrating this particular links and run the campaign in the Facebook and Instagram or Snapchat. Then what happens is actually it is directly hitting to the Facebook and Instagram of only the project managers. So when I run the campaign in these Instagram and Facebook, what happens is actually it is very cheap, and I can retarget any number of times so that get the attention of the people. And it was a very successful campaign where we can easily convert them actually. So it was a very easy, cost-effective campaigns also. So the idea is actually eliminate whom we don't want to talk. So when we run the straightaway campaign for this particular post in Instagram and without doing the data mining, what happens is actually we will get n numbers of leads, but we need to talk to the unwanted people. We need to talk to the irrelevant people. So here with this particular activity, I eliminate whom we don't want to talk. I want to talk to only the directly project managers. Next is actually study in depth your competitor. That is much important. We want to study what the competitor is, how the competitor is, how they are doing, and we need to study about them to design our campaigns. Next is actually we as an entrepreneur, I'm as a founder and co-founder, owner of a project, want to launch my startup or enterprises or any SME for doing any activities. We should invent actually a growth hacker or growth marketing team or growth hacking team should invent at least one disruptive growth hacking USP. Okay, I will discuss. We all know about one of the client who had become the unicorn. I will explain about what is the disruptive USP they had been implemented to grow to a big unicorn company. So whether we should ask, as a co-founder or founder, we should ask ourselves, what is the simplest or easiest or the important point that actually people should buy our product and service. So discuss that with the growth hacking team. Then we can easily, or they can easily design a one disruptive growth hacking USP for us. Next is actually, after designing, it is much important to communicate to our targeted customers straight and simple. 1 or 2 years before, or 2-3 years before, we know that communication in the particular digital marketing, any digital assets like Facebook, Instagram, is something like a very big content which is not easily communicated. So what we are telling that actually the content should be very straight and simple, which easily communicated. Next thing is actually track, monitor, escalate, and speedy reinitiation. See, the major defects of the digital marketing thought is basically they design a campaign, they run the campaign. Growth hacking is basically initially before designing the campaign, as I explained about the PMP course education industry, we initially do the data mining and understand who is our targeted customers. Then we design the campaign, and then we push the campaign in the Facebook and Instagram. So the first important thing is actually do the data mining, do the analytics, and we understand who we want to talk and whom we don't want to talk. First, eliminate the people who we want to talk. Then initially, we understand who we want to talk actually. So track, monitor, and escalate, and speedy reinitiation. So what we need to do is actually, once we understand that who we want to talk through the data mining, then we run the campaign. Now, after running the campaign, we should track, we should monitor, then we should escalate, and we should do speedy reinitiation. That means actually, we should understand whether we are doing the right thing. So we need to do a lot of experiments actually. Then we need to monitor actually how the effective is our campaign is going. Some years before the thing thoughtful of growth hacking, basically these things is basically like, you know, we run a campaign for a month, then finally we come to a point that the campaign is not effective. Then we will tell that actually campaign is, we need to do other campaign. Nowadays is actually we use, we personally use more than 150 tools integrating with different, based on the different industry and based on the different sentiments of the campaigns. We do a lot of tracking, we use a lot of analytics and understand whether our campaigns are going right way, and campaigns are whether not going right way, we can understand within seconds, within 1 or 2 days. If that campaign is not going good, then we need to have a speedy reinitiation of the campaign. So definitely we can, so we try, finally we end with a very good results actually. Now we say experiment, try until you succeed, okay. In growth hacking, to talk about growth hacking is actually 45 minutes or 1 hour is nothing, you know, I know very well actually, because I designed 2-3 presentations, then I cut off a lot of things and come to something which I know that actually 45 minutes not, but my idea is actually give an insight about what is the initiation of growth hacking, to understand that this is entirely different thing. So for me, we do, as I said, we had done some analytics oriented marketing, basically through LinkedIn for mining the data. So we say big data analytics. According to growth hacking, for me, big data analytics is something that we are not using any technology or doing any coding for doing some mining sales data and all. What we are doing is actually, we are basically depends upon some tools which do the mining of data. So for me, big data is basically the sales data or the important data for the conversions. So we use a lot of tools which is integrated to Facebook. We know that actually more than Facebook, Instagram, or Google, we get Google Analytics. Facebook, we get analytics of the Facebook and Instagram. But maybe everybody knows, or a lot of people don't know that actually there are a lot of startups coming into the market, which is very, very strong building analytical platform for analysis the business data, analysis the sentiments of this has been integrated to Facebook and other social medias and all, which fortunately we are using such kind of tools with some references to directly connected with the Facebook. So we are getting a lot of analytics more than we are getting from the normal filters and analytics which Facebook is giving and the Google is giving. So we are big data for growth hacking means actually the sales data after mining who is our target customer. That is the big data. So we, in our my experiences, we have the growth team here, and we are using some kind of tools. I'm talking about before the campaign, when we are engaging with the customers, or when we talk about an early tractions, where any startup or SME have only little money. They cannot do a lot of experiments and spend huge money into the market. They want actually early tractions, also the steady tractions. So what we do is actually we have a growth team here. Then we use a lot of BI tools and search tools and data mining tools actually here. Then we have a concept called social media monitoring. We will listen the social media. We will listen the web online discussions. Listen in the sense we are using some tools basically to do the sentiment analytics of what is the customer thinking about, what is the customer talking in the social media, and regarding the keywords or regarding the product and services we are going to sell, based on that product and service, what they are discussing in the social media about that product and service, or what they are doing, telling any complaints about our competitor product and service. We listen that and we understand, and with the machine learning, we do kind of analytics and understand whether they are talking about this particular product, our concept of product, what they are talking about, whether they are talking positive, whether they're talking negative. This is actually we are doing the social media monitoring. After that, we do the analysis, then we do the prospecting, then we do the segregation based on that. The whole these 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps are actually the data mining. Okay, after this, when we reach the sixth section, we will do the segregation of the data, what we mined actually. Okay, from this, then we will decide actually whether we take this details, I mean the data and target into the social media, or do the emailing to capture them, or actually do the paid target, paid retail campaigns actually. So the idea is actually, before the major difference between digital marketing and growth hacking is actually, initially we do lot of before the campaign, we do lot of activities basically for doing the analysis and doing the analysis to understand who is our target customers. Then only we start the campaigns actually for the social media. So what I'm telling means, when a growth hacking company or a growth hackers basically want to build an early tractions, we have little money. We want to understand that we spend whole money to the paid campaigns, whole money to spend on the social media. We don't have such kind of money. So we do an analytical oriented campaigns before that, and we only spend the particular money to talk to the targeted customers. So that is the idea of with our small money for any startup or SME to generate accurate business for the conversions. So when we talk about growth, basically growth funnel in the growth hacking, initially we do a lot of campaigns. After when we design the campaign, then what we do is actually we run the campaign basically for the user acquisition. Okay, so assume that we are promoting a mobile application, or something like a Swiggy, or something like a Uber or something. So we know that actually we have a little bit money basically for the initial marketing, and we need to early traction. So any startup or SME, the basic idea is actually to get the early traction. After the early traction only, we are thinking about the steady traction. So for the initial early traction, it is much important is actually we should have a very simple straightaway plan. So I know that actually some companies, some startups initially come to us kind of a growth hackers and say that actually I have 5 months time, 6 months time, I want 1 million downloads. Okay, so maybe their concept is huge and good and easy to convert something, but they will come to us and say that they want to for a user acquisition of 1 million or 50,000 or 100,000. According to my advice to the my audience is actually don't fix any big milestones initially. You fix only a smaller milestone. So just initially, can we have a plan for 2 months or 1 month or 2 months for only for 1,000 downloads? Okay. Then after 2 months, you target for next 3 months for 10,000 downloads. Then after that, so initially you target only a smaller milestone. So when we target 1,000 downloads, then our user acquisition campaigns is talking about I say that we want to find out a bigger USP that people will be attracted. And so after the user acquisition, when we run the campaign, people will be interested. So Uber is telling initially for their campaigns telling that actually wherever we are there actually for with the taxis, something like that. So any such kind of captions, then or maybe the activation campaigns will be like actually free ride for the first trip actually. So when we say free ride for the first trip, so user will download it, and activation means actually since it is a free ride, so we will do at least one easily activation so that I can experience how it is using. So after the activation and we use that particular product once, then we should run, they become our customer. Now we should run the campaign for retention. Then after they become our retained customer, now we should run the campaigns for giving some perks to them and tell them to refer us actually with the new customer. So that is referral. Then automatically we can bring that revenue. So I want to explain a lot of things actually in this in depth, but I know that time persists, so I'm just pushing to my next slides. Next is actually high tempo testing. When we run the campaign, it is much important. Simply put, in high tempo testing, growth teams commit to run a specific amount of experiments on daily and weekly basis. As I said before, we know very well that actually we have only less money. We don't have much time for experiments. But any startup people are here, any enterprise people are here hearing my voice, any SME people, you should understand growth hacking is something which doing a lot of experiments or minimal initially, but definitely experimental level only we can achieve that particular target. So it is much important for actually to give the room for your growth hackers or your digital team in your company for trying with a lot of experiments actually. So the idea is actually experiments means you do a lot of high tempo testing daily basis, weekly basis, and understand whether your activities are going very good. And so that what happens is actually you will get into a bigger results. Heat map analysis is something which I just want to show you very simple. Heat map analysis, all the digital marketers also do. But here, why I just show this heat map analysis, because you can see here, if it is your website or it is your mobile application, when we design our mobile application, when we design our web application, we should understand not only our marketing activities fails, but also our platform fails. So in terms of this, when we look into growth hacking, it is much important also understand what is the strength of our application, what is the strength of our users' experience with the application. So through heat map analysis, or there are a lot of different analytical tools we are using basically for growth hacking, integrating your mobile application, web application, or any business activities to understand actually what is the user journey basically in our applications and platform, and understand that actually when we record the user journey, we can even record the videos of the user journey and understand that actually according to our campaign, people are coming to your website or mobile application or on business, but the problem is that our technology fails or our platform fails, or we had been misplaced much important thing. Maybe you can see the red here. Red is actually most of the people are clicked. Here yellow is actually less people click, and here blue is actually very less people click. So when we design our application UI UX designs, we will understand that actually our something which is the area we have placed here, that much important thing we may be placed down. So we need to bring them to on the top or something like that. So it is much important to do such kind of analysis to understand where we stand and why our application is failing or why our marketing activities is failing. I'm just putting the example of a growth pattern of the Dropbox to understand. Dropbox, when they start, actually they don't spend much money into advertising. So what they put is they have a very simple home page telling that your stuff anywhere, sign up. Dropbox, you all know that actually it is a online storage space where we all are using for storing our files like FTP. So they put a kind of a referral program telling that get up to 16 GB free space by inviting your friends to Dropbox. So once I become a member of this, then I give a kind of a 16 GB free space by inviting your friends. So I'm getting extra free spaces. So what happens is actually when Uber starts, they tell that actually you ride in Uber, then you will get an your friend, you will get an free ride for you for next ride, or your friends you can ride after the referral, something like that. So this is something, they have very simple home page, then they have a referral program, and by that when in social media also connect your Facebook account 125 MB. So what I'm telling means we define a convincing USP initially. So convincing growth hacking techniques. So growth hacking is not only is actually analytics or analyzing and monitoring and tracking what all our activities we are doing in going in a definitely in a straighter way, but it's also important to define a great USP basically to get into the initially for the initial attractions of our customers actually. So this is actually, I'm talking about the what was the Dropbox activity, growth hacking activities to get their early tractions and this scalable traction for them. I talk last about one more activities what my team as well as growth hacking much important for the early tractions and all. This is in when we try to do the social selling in social media marketing, we should understand who is our buyer and what is the buyer sentiments and what buyer wants actually, and what information sources they use, and what is the buyer's journey. So there is a element called social media monitoring, which is unleashing hidden knowledge out of social media and web data. You know that when the election comes, when a candidate is announced, we know that actually a lot of nowadays the lot of political parties are using a lot of analytics to understand what is the sentiments of the that particular Lok Sabha candidate or the local elections. They should understand what is the sentiments of that area to the candidate actually. So they will do a lot of social media monitoring to understand analytics of the voters and analytics of this. So this is, you know, that companies like Cambridge Analytica and all use the very vast in vast areas actually to help political parties. But growth hacking, we can use the social media monitoring to understand who is the buyer actually, and what is the buyer sentiments. So when we compete with any, when we are going to launch our product and using the social media, we should understand who is our competitor, and we will do some kind of social media monitoring to understand what the existing users are talking about the existing product in the market, our competitor market. So what they are posting against that product and what is the sentiments. The social media monitoring is actually, they will social media monitoring tool. We use tools like Eastmode or different other tools. Basically, we will set some keywords, and based on that keywords, it will go to the social media and do the whole crawling based on a region which we are going to target our marketing activity, and it will go to the all competitors, competitor products, and it will go to different communities, and it will take the whole conversations into a bucket, and it will segregate like actually the positive sentiments into a bucket, negative sentiments into a bucket, neutral sentiments into a bucket. And when we study with the machine learning action with the positive sentiments and negative sentiments, we'll understand what is the problem of the existing product in the market before we launch our product. So what the communities are talking about the existing product in the market, and what negative, what positive. But after doing this analysis only, we design our campaign for the social media. Otherwise, what happens is actually we will fail. We will do all the mistakes what our competitors have done, and we will gain a lot of hate stories where there. So this is what about social media monitoring. So initially we listen, then we analysis, then we understand, then we put up our strategies actually. So this is basically social media monitoring means this can read basically all social media buzz. It can read web and online discussions. It can read. So after that, we will have a plan how to design our campaigns for the social media activities. So I'm concluding. I know the time is over. I know I also feel want to talk more, but very little time. So I'm just concluding by telling all my audience very important few things is actually growth hacking is one element we can say the major attractive USP, which I was discussing about the Dropbox, which attractive USP we defined, a virality USP we defined for our product and service to launch in the market. Second thing is actually the execution makes the differences, much important. So first thing, we choose different models and do the right things. Okay, I defined about data mining and understanding our customers, then do the campaigns and everything. So do the right things, that is much important. Second is actually analyze the wrongs in the right things what we did. We know we are very confident that actually we did right things in the activities, but analysis the wrong in the right things what we did. Then third is actually rectify the wrong things what we did. We do the rectifications, then repeat this rectification until the wrong becomes right. That is actually all about the growth hacking for me. So I know that actually a lot of things to talk, but time persists. The next time, if you get an opportunity, definitely we can talk more about the practical way of doing it. Actually, if you are getting into every growth hackers have a different perspective of social selling or different thoughts actually. So what I shared, not something which I read from the books, more than that, which I had experience in my experience for last 5 to 5.5 years actually. I was not knowing what is growth hacking before when I start my company actually. I was a CEO of an IT company in Infopark actually. Then I was helping from that company basically some startup companies. Then I feel much interest in such kind of digital activities. So when I defined, so I also designed a lot of basically tools actually for grabbing such kind of data mining and all. Then started Maplitho solutions. But after that, I understand that actually this is much important for any startups. So I'm helping a lot of startups now. So for me, growth hacking is actually my experiences. When I was running my 175 people company as a CEO, I was put into a well that actually to bring monthly revenue for maintaining this stuff. So I have tried a lot of different things actually to maintain the revenue. Then I thought that can be the experience which I can share to to help the startups and other companies. So successfully doing and working with different companies. And this is what I have my first session about growth hacking. Over to you, Mr. Abhilash. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Faisal. I think you kind of connected a lot of different tool chains into one single place of growth hacking, including bringing in credibility using LinkedIn profiles and thereby doing the analytics instead of doing it just with some social media tools other than LinkedIn, and kind of connected different arenas together, different dots, I would say, because there are different multidisciplinary in nature kind of work. And that is something obviously what would be obviously of interest for us, I think, is also kind of looking at your perspective. The entire chain has been quite distributed, and you had a lot of great teams to incorporate, and you gave us an idea about those teams. But one team in particular, because you probably already had some background about customer analysis, or so the behavioral aspect of the customer angle. How much of that was kind of important for in the journey? That would be of great interest.
Okay. See, what I felt is actually without understanding the customer behavior, it is very, very difficult to close the deal. Okay. So I was a marketing executive before. Then sometime I go to for a meeting actually. Many times I felt that feels insulted that actually I'm not getting a very good respective meeting. Okay. So what I felt is actually we only go for a very respective meeting. So respective meeting is actually before we go for the meeting, make them understand what is the importance of this meeting. You understand? So so we give an experience to our customers. I'm talking about and coming to your answer. When we give an experience to the customers, and we bring them initially get the initial attention, and we bring them to if it is a website of a mobile application, and we do the analytics basically what journey are they are doing actually in our activity. So you can say there are some tools which can use they come to our website or a mobile application and they are not buying from us, okay, but we can see that if they are not buying and they are going from our mobile application or a web application, okay, but now I am behind them and I know that they are going to a different competitor site, okay, and they are choosing some they are going to Amazon. My site is actually selling a fashion product and they after this they go to Amazon and they are by searching for same product in Amazon, then they are going to Flipkart, they are searching. So all these analytics we can capture actually, you understand, and what we will do is actually we will tell to our customer telling that actually Amazon they buy and Flipkart or Flipkart they buy, but they didn't buy from you because one point is actually when they try to buy, the checkout button was not working. Okay. Second, when they try to buy, then they go to Flipkart, they saw that actually this product is more cheaper in Flipkart. You understand? So when we use such kind of tool, we will understand or we will instantly we can use some tools to push some kind of offer to them when they are in Flipkart. We push them option this so that. So behavior is much important. Else, what we feel digital marketing aspect is that actually they feel that actually people are coming and only 5 people put an inquiry means actually only 5 is converted. Okay, but we know that 1,000 people come to our website, but only 5 had converted. But digital marketing thought is actually with 995, it's gone. But growth hacking concept is actually they had seen something and come to our website, 995 people. We need to analysis what this 995 people didn't, why they didn't buy from us. So we go behind them, we go behind their activities in next 2-3 days, then we bring them again. So that is about the user journey tracking.
Bringing back and kind of acquiring them. It's a great journey.
It's all important because small money. So startups don't have money. So definitely we should we cannot put a lot of money actually for bringing again and again.
Anublal, I think there was somebody who had raised the hand. If that is the case.
Yeah, but I think they have lowered it. Yeah.
Okay. So I think so. Great session. Thanks a lot, Faizal. I think. So we learned a lot of stuff, and obviously I think you can connect over TiE and maybe we'll hand it over to Anublal for the concluding remarks. Thank you.
So you can do the thanks also, word of thanks.
Yeah, okay. Great, thank you.
Faisal, sir, if you could, some people had asked for your contact. If you can share that in your screen, that contact number for a minute, then they'll
I can.
Yeah, we have one raised hand from Nisar.
Yeah.
Nisar, can you hear?
I just want the contact number regarding that. You already proceeded.
Okay.
You can see the screen.
Great. I think it has been a wonderful session. You have really within short period kind of taken through the entire journey that you have experienced. So that's more important, I should say, because books will talk about some journey, but you have very clearly pointed out your journey, which is more of experience which people can probably try to apply rather than so that is kind of, it includes a mix of data analytics, acquiring those customers, going back behind them and understanding the right questions and identifying why they are not coming to us, and that journey and bringing back to them. I think that is a crucial tool that any startup or enterprise would really look forward. And I think we wish you also all the best in your journey, because fundamentally we have kind of also seen your path and journey and ability to bring back customers to the organization, and that is, I think, incredible capability that we at TiE are also looking forward to bringing a lot of, because one of the area which we really notice, like I mentioned in the beginning, is the gap between how do we get there. What got you here will not take you there kind of perspective, and you really kind of close the gaps between that, kind of bringing the data analytics integration, and also bringing how behavioral angle plays a very important role. Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for joining us today. And hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Mr. Abhilash, actually. Thank you, TiE.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Anup and Nikhil for the support.
Thank you, Anup and Nikhil. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you very much.